Hi. So today we are going to chapter number 9, class 6th hour past, new empires and kingdoms. But before I start the chapter, there were few queries which I received. Number one is like, sir, at this speed, if we go, then how will we be able to complete and when we will be able to complete? Okay, now let's come to this agreement, this point that as an average aspirant spends around 4 to 5 hours per day, and I, the initial month for the foundation, I have only demanded or requested for 2 hours maximum for my for whatever program we are doing here. So in that regard, I have not overloaded it, but I'm also trying to check whether you are able to continue or not. How do I check? I see how many people open the mail, how many people click the link. So I check that. So then I realized, okay, these are the students who are actually following it every day. It is very difficult. Discipline is the most difficult thing to happen. I can tell you to run 100 kilometers, you will run 100 kilometers for one day. But for 100 days, doing 100 kilometers is the toughest thing to ever do. So, as a mentor and as a person who has done all this thing, I realized that we have to go slow and we have to slowly increase our capacity. Now, in that regard, I have not put a timeline. I am doing my lessons as we are going. I have only requesting you to do revision MCQs, read them, loudly read them. The answers are there itself, and then go to the chapters so that you can recall. So these are all methodologies to do the revision preparation. This is what we are doing. And as we complete our first month, like another 10 days or so, you will realize slowly the difficulty level and capacity level will also increase. So I will take care of it, but the moment you lose patience, it is difficult. Second, I have taken my program is not going to go occupy 3 hours or more when it goes at a highest level also. You have your own time, have all the you have all the resources what you want in your hand. You complete your study plan. You do not stop or depend only this on this activity. This is a boosting activity to stay disciplined, to help you boost your self uh, study plan. And as a mentor, I am trying to help you to stay or put your effort in direction. That's it. Okay. So continuing with this chapter now, the kind of questions which come in UPSC exams, not just in civil services examination, but even other exams of UPSC in general studies, is terminology driven. Some terminology, some name, some book name, some author name, some scientist name, like that. So these chapters which we are studying now have a lot of them. So hence, you have to be very focused. As a story, when we read the chapter, we just pass through it, but we do not recall it when we see it is in a question. So that's why first do the MCQ and then come to the chapter. The chapter mentions about what are prashastis, mentions about Gupta dynasty, Samudragupta dynasty, from of Gupta dynasty, and then who is Harisena, what is Kavya. It speaks about what are prashastis composed of, who is Gautami Putra Shri Satakarni. Then what is about Samudragupta's prashasti in praise of he as an warrior, what he has done, what has been his activity, the king who played the veena, qualities of Samudragupta through his coins, various states, the rulers. Then there is a map which shows important cities and kingdoms. What is the, these are all Samudragupta's conquered places. Remember, try to remember various location and their names, so that in question writer, answering writer, you may be able to recall things. So what are these Gupta dynasties? Gupta dynasty, the calendar, Vikramaditya, Harshvardhana, Harishacharita. You have to read it. I'm not yet, completing whatever is written over here. You have to read it. I'm just highlighting. The lectures will start. We did include everything. So you will have to yourself read them. When I do the lectures, you will come to know. So these are all the chapters, kind of talks. Lot of italics, lot of symbolism is there. Southern Kingdom, what is Ur was a village assembly in Tamil Nadu, southern of India. Abhigyana Sakuntalam, famous play of Kalidas. Love between King Dushyant and woman named Shakuntala. So the story or the Chinese pilgrims Fa Xian, plight, Bhanabhatta and his army. So these names are introduced here. So it's very good for you to create a note on it. So if we have to revise the summary of this chapter, the chapter New Empires and Kingdoms, Prashastis and their importance. Prashasti is a Sanskrit word meaning in praise of. It refers to inscriptions written in the praise of rulers. Samudragupta, a famous ruler of the Gupta dynasty, is known through a Prashasti inscribed in the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad or Prayagraj of today. It was composed by Harisena, a poet and minister in his court. Prashastis, though known in earlier times, became more prominent during the Gupta period. They glorified the rulers and depicted them as great warriors, learned individuals, and sometimes even compared them to gods. Samudragupta's Prashasti. Samudragupta is praised as a brave warrior, a learned king, and a poet. His Prashasti describe him as a king who had scars from many battles, signifying his warrior abilities. Samudragupta is also depicted as a musician, shown playing the veena on coins. His victories and conquests are categorized into four different policies towards rulers from different regions. Aryavarta, northern India. Nine rulers were defeated and their kingdoms annexed. Dakshinapatha, southern India. 12 rulers surrendered after defeat but were reinstated as subordinate rulers. Inner circle of neighboring states included regions like Assam, Bengal, and Nepal, which paid tribute and followed Samudragupta's commands. Outlying areas, regions such as present day Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, sent tribute, and the Sri Lankan ruler even offered daughters in marriage. Vikram Samvat and genealogies. The Vikram Samvat era, starting in 58 BCE, is traditionally associated with Chandragupta II, who defeated the Shakas and assumed the title Vikramaditya. The Prashastis also mention the genealogies or family histories of rulers. Samudragupta's family gradually rose to power with titles like Raja, Maharaja, and Maharajadhiraj, showing the increasing importance of his dynasty. Chandragupta II and Harshavardhana. Chandragupta II was Samudragupta's son. He expanded the empire by defeating the Shakas in western India. Harshavardhana, a ruler of Thanesar and Kannauj, ruled nearly 1400 years ago. His biography, Harsa Charitra, written by his court poet Banabhatta. Harsha's empire extended to Magad and Bengal, but his southern expansion was checked by Pulakeshin II of the Chalukya dynasty. Pallavas, Chalukyas, and Pulakeshin's Prasasti. The Pallava and Chalukyas were powerful South Indian dynasties. Pallavas ruled from Kanchipuram. Chalukyas ruled from Raichur Doab between the Krishna and Tungabhadra river with their capital at Aihole, a prominent trade and religious center. Pulakesin too was the best known Chalukya ruler. His Prasasti, composed of Ravi Kirti, recounts his victories, including stopping Harsha's south or southern expansion. However, his victories over Pallavas were short-lived, as new dynasties like the Rashtrakuta and Cholas eventually replaced both Pallavas and Chalukyas. Administration and new development. The Gupta rulers and their successors relied on land revenue and the village as the basic unit of administration. Some administrative posts became hereditary, where sons succeeded their fathers. For instance, Harissena's the court poet was a Mahadandanayaka, chief judicial officer, like his father. The other prominent administrative positions included the Nagara Shreshthi, chief merchant, Sarthavaha, leader of merchant caravans, Prathama Kulika, chief craftsman, new kind of army. Kings maintained organized armies, including elephants, cavalry, chariots, and foot soldiers. Samantas, or military leaders, provided troops in return for their land grants. They collected revenue from these lands to maintain their soldiers. When rulers became weak, Samantas often attempted to become independent. Assemblies in southern kingdoms. Local assemblies like the Sabha, Assembly of Brahmin landowners, and the Ur, village assembly, managed local administration in the southern kingdoms. Nagaram was an organization of merchants. These assemblies often functioned for centuries, controlled by rich landowners and merchants, ordinary people, and literature. Kalidasa's plays provide glimpse of lives of ordinary people as well as the language difference between classes. For instance, kings and Brahmins spoke Sanskrit while others used Prakrit. Kalidasa's famous play Abhigyana Shakuntalam tells the story of Dushyanta and Shakuntala and highlights social conditions such as the plight of a poor fisherman wrongly accused of theft. So these are the part mentioned in the chapter. Thank you.